Welcome back to the history of English literature. We are looking at the origin of drama, and we in the last videos we have seen the predecessors of English drama, and we have also seen how the evolution of drama, a new kind of romantic drama that is originated in the golden period of Elizabethan rule. So we had seen how the Elizabethan period originated with the romantic dramas, which was the blending of a classical tradition and the new taste of Elizabethan society. We have also noted that what are the principles of classical dramas and how we had seen the classical dramas principles, that is with the mixture of the Elizabethan drama. To take a further look at the features of Elizabethan drama, there were basically four kinds of drama, not necessary in terms of generic division, but there were four kinds of drama which were prevalent during those times: comedies, historical plays and chronicles, tragedies, and also the plays which showed a general interest in politics and the history of the times. So the comedies were mostly from Italian or Latin sources, and since the queen or the monarch was the reigning supreme power during those times, and also the plays were heavily funded by the patrons, were mostly the courtiers, the most of the plays had a congratulatory nature. They were it in praise of the patrons or the ruling monarch. So we do find a lot of references to the ruling class in most of the plays which were getting produced during that time, and also we find that love and tribulations began to emerge as a major theme during those times. This in stark contrast with the Senecan model, because most of the Senecan plays had focused on war and elements of horror in it. So from that there is a drastic move towards the final editions of human life, and we find in Shakespeare plays in general that love is a major theme that writer writes throughout most of the plays at different phase, and there were lots of interest in historical plays and chronicles, and these history plays and chronicles were also a way in which English public could turn back and look at their glorious past and also get to know about the life of the kings and other rulers from the period of the Norman conquest onwards. If we survey the works of Shakespeare relate to point, we would also know that the history plays from a major corpus of his works as well, and tragedies were mostly based on the Senecan model. They were also melodramatic, and they had incorporated a lot of emotional speeches in that. The stage spectacle were also quite incredible, and in that sense, though the tragedies tried to fit themselves into the Senecan models, they moved away from the terms of these elaborate stage shows and elaborate kinds of spectacle as well. And most of these tragedies also try to showcase the darker side of human character. If you remember the morality plays we had seen in the last videos and all, had begun to personify the abstract characters and also talk about the various ways in which human life is being constituted. So we find this getting advanced in many ways in the tragedies of Elizabethan period. There were lots of discussions, lots of deliberations about melancholic aspect of human life in general, which we see in the Elizabethan drama in general, and most of these plays was not distant from what was happening in the contemporary Elizabethan life. So there is a general interest in politics and history which gets shown throughout the Elizabethan period. We find this is not just in drama, but also in the other forms of writings, which would be taking a look at in the upcoming videos. And in this It is through these plays as they begin to reflect the contemporary life and also the state of politics and the state of history in general. This also becomes a tool for the historians to later on to look at how the artists and other common people were responding to these affairs of the state in many different ways. And at this point it is also useful to remember that this time Bible ceases to be the only source of the dramatic plot. They also borrowed heavily from other languages, other traditions, and also there is during this time we begin to see that the ideas of the original place and original story lines coming into being. So by this time we noticed that the control of the church completely goes away, and also the theme, the moral structure, and everything related to human life moved away drastically from the theological framework of the past. If you take a look at comedies, the Shakespeare's comedies are very famous during this Elizabethan drama, Elizabethan period. Shakespeare whose comedies ranged from farcical to tragicomic, while he was the master of the romantic comedy. While Ben Jonson, whose drama was strongly influenced by the classical tenants, who wrote a caustic, rich satire plays and all is written by Ben Jonson. While while looking at the examples of Shakespeare comedies, Twelfth Night, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, As You Like It, The Tempest are the best comedies during this period. Ben Jonson's comedies, Every Man in His Humor, Every Man Out of His Humor, Alchemist are the very famous comedies which were satirical as well as both comedies. Try to teach something to the people. While looking at the genre of tragedy, the tragedy was they mostly dealt with the theme called the revenge theme. Okay, so these were called revenge plays in the form of tragedy, which was extremely popular in the Elizabethan and Jacobean eras. The best known of these are Thomas Kit's The Spanish Tragedy and William Shakespeare's Hamlet. Now let us look at some questions of the lecture today. So the Spanish tragedy was written by option A Thomas Kit, B Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, option C Marlowe, option D Ben Jonson. The Spanish tragedy was written by Thomas Kit. The next question is, the play Hamlet is based on the theme of procrastination, war, jealous, or revenge. Option A is correct. It's based on revenge. The play A Midsummer Night's Dream was written by Thomas Keats, Shakespeare, Marlowe, or Ben Jonson. A Midsummer Night's Dream was a comic play. It was written by William Shakespeare. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.